Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of Sports Shorts presented by LeBears Casino in Baton Rouge. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I'll tell you what, man, this is about as good as it gets when it comes to sports in the state of Louisiana. LSU undefeated, getting ready for a big, huge game against the Florida Gators on Saturday. Game day coming to Baton Rouge. The Tulane Green Wave are on the verge of being ranked with a 4-1 record, and the Raging Cajuns are off to a great start as well. I mean, a lot of good things happening. And the Saints, without Drew Brees, have won 3 in a row. So it doesn't get any better if you are a football fan in the state of Louisiana. And we'll talk a little football because my guest is a guy who was a pretty good one in high school, but kind of made a reputation and name for himself on the diamond. And joining me right now is Jason Williams, former LSU Tiger great, and a guy this Friday going into the LSU Sports Hall of Fame. J-Dub, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Good to be here, Ronnie.
So tell me about how you got the news and, your reaction when a few weeks ago or months ago now at this point that you got told you were going into the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's funny because I knew I had a chance because I still hold a couple records after 23 years. So I thought, maybe I got a shot to be in it. Maybe it'd be the last award that I ever get in my life.
Right.
Being old as we are. But I found out I was up for it, so I was hoping to at least get enough votes to get in the first ballot, and got the call from Verge, and that I made it in. So what a big honor for me, being a Louisiana boy, growing up being an LSU fan. I mean, I remember my mom and dad pitching me balloons when I was 1 year old, and I always wanted to play for the Tigers, and that dream come true, and got a chance to win 2 national championships, and now going into the LSU Hall of Fame. That's big time.
I mean, for a guy, went to Santa Maria High School, 20, 30 minutes away from Tiger Stadium. And we'll talk about that. It's kind of like the year of J-Dub. It's like we've got the going into the Santa Maria inaugural Hall of Fame, LSU Hall of Fame, the city. Gonzalez gave you the key, but you're going on with some pretty good people, man. I mean, Brady James and Susan Jackson, just to name a few. I mean, this is a stellar class, very diverse class. You got softball, baseball, tennis, wrestling, you name it. But, for the likes of Brady James, who's one of the greatest linebackers ever to play at LSU, Susan Jackson on the Mount Rushmore of gymnastics at LSU. I mean, as a guy in this class, I'm sure when you read the bios and looked into all the others, it's quite an honor.
Yeah. Being a baseball guy, we usually, just follow baseball, football, maybe some basketball. But reading all these athletes and what they accomplished over the years, man, it's a big honor to be associated with them going into the LSU Hall of Fame.
I'm sure it's been a lot of fun for your family. I mean, that's the best part of getting these awards, right?
Yeah, I always said it ain't just for me. It's for my mom, my dad, that made all the sacrifices. My son gets to grow up and tell his friends, hey, my dad's in the LSU Hall of Fame. No, you serious? No way. just stuff like that. I think it's more for the family than it is for me, but, it feels good for everybody. So
let's go back to the days, you played at Santa Maria High School down in the pit, right? And I went to 2 EA Santa Maria football games in my lifetime back in the day. I think Greg Patterson brought me to one. It was over at EA, and then I went with Andy Sheets over to Santa Maria the following year, like 91, 92. I actually saw you play one of them, or 90, 91, something like that. People don't realize, first off, the EA Santa Maria rivalry, not as quite what it used to be.
Yeah,
but still a top 5 rivalry in the state of Louisiana. But it was number 1 for a long time.
It was number 1 when I was in high school, no doubt about it. I mean, they still got big events and stuff, but back in my day, man, I think it was the biggest rivalry in the state without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And to go against them, and a lot of them guys are your friends, and you play ball with them, all-star, baseball growing up and stuff like that. So it's a fun week for the whole crowd of both of Santa Maria and EA fans.
Yeah, I mean, you have 2 big powerhouse programs in the Ascension Parish. Now, since Dutchtown's come on board, it's kind of diluted the rivalry just a little bit, but you still have a lot of proud alums of both schools. But you were a guy that ran the option.
Oh yeah.
And you were more runner than thrower.
Well, they only let me throw. I could throw, but they only let me throw like 12 times a game because we ran the option every play, and
right.
I could run it. I was fast, and I had a good arm. And in fact, going into the Santa Maria Hall of Fame next week, but they want to know one of my biggest highlights in high school, and One of them was beating EA my junior year. We went 10-0. We was the first Santa Monica football team to go 10-0 that year, and I think I ran for 4 and threw 3 touchdowns against EA that year. So had a pretty good year, a pretty good game.
Was there ever a foot college football consideration, at any of the schools that ran the option? Would any of them reach out to you?
At the time, I got 2 offers. Northwestern State wanted me to play football and baseball, and Mississippi State had some interest because they ran the option at the time. But I mean, look, 5'8" quarterback in SEC, I don't know. So I mean, I could throw the football about 65 yards in high school, so I could still sling it. But I knew baseball I had a better chance.
So a lot of people don't realize this. You were an outstanding student at Santa Monica, and actually initially came to LSU an academic scholarship.
Yeah. Skip didn't give me a athletic baseball scholarship to my senior year. I'm like, I guess you got to go, make two-time All-American before you get a scholarship. But I was on a
tough bar.
Yeah. I was on I was on an academic. I had to maintain a certain GPA to my first 4 years here. It was only a 4-year scholarship, which I redshirted my first year, which was good for me because y'all was just coming off a national championship, 91. I was still 17 getting into college because I got a late birthday, so it helped me tremendously.
That's something that people don't do these days, right? Is redshirt. I mean, they don't really in any sport. I mean, the only time they truly do redshirt is if they have an injury. Most guys don't want a redshirt, but you, Warren Morris, I mean, a lot of guys back in the day redshirted. Brett McCabe was a redshirt, Matt Chamberlain was a redshirt. I mean, a lot of these guys redshirted, and it paid dividends down the road.
Well, I think now they hold them back like 2 years now, right? In middle school, that way they hold enough sometimes. But yeah, I mean, the redshirt year, just getting acclimated to college. I mean, Warren, when he got here, he probably never lifted a weight before. You knew it. He was there. And once he got in the weight room, man, he started really, getting stronger and hitting the ball out and hitting a lot of doubles and stuff. But when he first got here, he was pretty weak. But it helped him in that 4-year redshirt for sure.
At the same time, it's tough, right? It's tough redshirt.
Oh, yeah.
You go from being the man, and you talk about, scoring all these touchdowns and doing all these things, and then all of a sudden, hey, I'm my games are my practices.
Well, I had a 2-year plan. When I came to LSU, of course I was recruited, but I wasn't on scholarship, and I said I redshirt once my first year, and then after 2 years, you know where you at in the pecking order.
Program, yeah.
You know that. I mean, after 2 years, you can, then, hey, if I'm not playing, I don't think I'm going to play, then I transfer. But, after my redshirt year, it worked out for me. I got to start all 4 years after that. So,
I know a guy that was very influential for you when you came to LSU was Smoke Laval. Smoke was an assistant coach at LSU, and of course, kind of ran the practices and was a lot more hands-on. Skip kind of came out after the first hour, after all the kind of the blue collar work was done. But Smoke, kind of gave you a lot of motivation, right?
Well, when I met Smoke, he was. I think he's married to her, but he was dating a girl from Santa Monica that her daughter was on the cheer or dance squad or something. So he got to watch me every Friday night at Santa Monica play football. And I think he knew what kind of player I was. Then he transferred over to baseball. Then once he saw me, catching ground balls and stuff like that, I think he was the only guy at LSU on the coaching staff at the time that said, look, hang in there. It's your red shirt. You're hanging there. I think you're going to do good things here, and you're going to break records here. And I'm like, what?
Right.
What? Seriously? So he was the only guy that really believed in me early. Once Skip and Beetle and Swanky and all them saw me later, then they got on board. But I think he was the first guy that really had some confidence in me.
Well, you were part of the Santa Monica pipeline, man. It was a great player, Andy Sheets, that came right before you and was the shortstop on the 91 national championship team. Andy in 1992 was SEC MVP in the championship in the tournament, and was a. But y'all couldn't have been more different styles.
Right.
Andy was so pretty. He was tall and long and had the snake kind of arm and all. You were just blue collar, get it done. Glove to hand and throw in about a half a second. But I mean, still, what was it? I guess about Santa Monica and what's in the water over there?
Well, look, I grew up kind of watching Andy. He was always 2 years older than me in school and everything, and All Stars and all that stuff growing up through the Gonzales Santa Monica program and. In fact, I called him the other day when he found out. I said, look, you taught me a lot over the years, just watching him playing it. I mean, I had to play center field and left field my first 2 years of Legion and first 2 years at Santa Monica until Andy left and I went to short. It was always like that. So I got to, play different positions, learn how to play outfield and all that stuff to help me out and overall. But Andy's taught me a lot over the years. He's always been a good mentor and always tried to help me when he could.
When you came to LSU, he was still there. It was his last year, right?
Right.
And
right.
when you redshirted.
On a redshirt, he was his last
And
year.
what kind of advice or what did y'all talk about?
Well, he said, he basically just said, work hard, do the stuff you keep doing. I mean, you've always been a good player. Don't change nothing. Just work a little harder, get a little stronger and all that stuff. So, in fact, he went to Tulane his first year, then
Right.
transferred. And we had to talk about that because, let's face it, when I was coming out, everybody sees me. I ain't the biggest, tallest guy.
Right.
You can't play at LSU. You're never going to play. If you go there, you're not going to start. I remember Bianco he was recruiting me hard at Northwestern. Hey, you going to come over here and be the starting shortstop? Don't go at LSU. You ain't going to play. So it was funny when I started.
When he started coming
then he
back
was
as
over
an
here as
assistant.
the coach, so we laugh about that all the time. But I thought that was pretty good.
I remember when you talk about when Mike Bianco was an assistant for Jim Wells
That's what it
at
is,
Northwestern State. Jim Wells actually recruited me too at Menard High in Alexandria. It was his first, he was leaving LSU. He just gotten the Northwestern State job, and he hadn't coached game one at Northwestern State, and he came to see me at Menard. And I remember we visited for like 30 minutes, in the stands just talking, and he gave me the pitch, hey, you can be a part of building something, and all that stuff. And I said, Coach, man, because I knew Jim from baseball camp at LSU,
Right.
and liked the guy. And I said, Jim, of course he went on to be a coach at Alabama, a great coach there. And I said, Coach, thank you so much, but I think I'm going to be a Tiger. And he went, yeah, I know, but I had to try.
Well, when I went on my visit, it was a weekend game. They was playing a conference game, and I looked around, and they had like 60 people in the stands. And I went on my visit to LSU. I was like, oh, this is the big difference here. That's when that's my 2-year plan right there.
Right. Things don't work out, I'll be in Natchitoches.
Right.
He's Jason Williams, former Santa Maria Gator great. They played quarterback and, of course, baseball and football going into the Santa Maria Hall of Fame. But the big Hall of Fame he's going into is this Friday. The LSU Hall of Fame will join a prestigious class. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with more with our conversation with LSU legend Jason Williams.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Shorts. Ronnie Rance here with you. Sports Shorts presented by LeBears Casino. Better Than Ezra in concert over at LeBears, Friday night. So go check that out. Tickets through Ticketmaster.com. You can also download the LeBears Baton Rouge app and see all the goings-on. BTE in concert, the annual show during football season, the Friday night before an LSU home game. A Parish County Line is going to be playing there on Friday night before the Texas A&M game. A lot of great stuff coming up. Check out the whole schedule over at LeBears in Baton Rouge through Ticketmaster.com. Joining me is Jason Williams. J-Dub, going into the LSU Sports Hall of Fame, along with a good friend of mine, Susan Jackson, in gymnastics. You got Brady James with football and many, many others. It's a big honor because, LSU baseball, right, has had so much success. And I want to say since 1984, Skip's first season at LSU, there are over 60 players, and this is counting Skip, Smoke, Paul. There's well over 60 players that have made it to the major leagues, and since 1984. I mean, that's unbelievable. We're not talking about the hundreds of minor league players.
Right.
We're talking about 60 plus major leaguers, which, and you know well as anybody, in my opinion, it's the hardest thing in the world to make it to the major leagues in baseball. Versus football, you're right in there. Basketball, you're right in there. If they draft you, you're in there.
Right, you got to go through the grind.
Baseball, you're going through 6 levels, to get there. So I mean, and you're competing against the world. The Dominicans and the Latinos and the Australians and you got baseball's played all over the world. So anyway, but there's not a lot of LSU baseball players in the LSU Hall of Fame, and because you got to be great. You've got to you got to graduate. You're competing against other sports. So there's a lot that goes into being in the LSU Hall of Fame. Not just you had one good year and you hit
right. You got to be great for 3 or 4.
Yeah,
sure.
They value a guy who played most or all of his career at LSU, not just a guy who came in for a year or two. So congratulations to that, and of course you're joining the likes of Eddie Furness and Todd Walker and some of these guys that you played with.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes it special.
I know you get asked about the Warren Morris all the time. You played with Warren. You guys were in the Olympics together in 1996 to start an infield for the Olympic team with Skip Bertman as the head coach. I want to talk about that before we get to the home run. But, I mean, how cool was that? Won a bronze medal in 1996. Got to play in the Olympics in Atlanta. I mean, that's just amazing.
We was actually disappointed to win the bronze.
Oh, sure.
We had a chance to win the gold, but I tell you what, that summer was probably, look, before we got to Olympic Village, we would wake up, travel all day, play at night, different city every night. We was on the road. We started in Miami. We would stop at almost every city, to San Antonio, up to New Jersey. I didn't know what time it was, what day it was. When we got to the Village at Georgia Tech, Atlanta, we was like, thank God we're going to be able to stay in one place for a little while, at least
right.
2 weeks,
Right.
Because, we was on the road. We was playing, Japanese, Korean. We was playing a different
right.
team every night. But by the time we got there, we were so ready to be there and make the games mean something.
Did it take it out of you? Is that a reason?
It kind of took it out of you. But look, people, you had to be on your game because people were getting cut every day on long end trips. It wasn't like.
So you started with a big pool and then you worked your way down the roster.
People got cut. I think J.D. Drew got cut
right.
like 2 days before we went to the Olympics.
Right.
So it was like, you better be on your A game every time because you might be gone,
Right.
And thank God the summer, that ball looked that big to me the whole summer. I led the team in hitting. I think I was hitting 417.
Wow.
So I wouldn't let them cut me.
Right.
I had a chance probably to go home, if I wouldn't have did good, because they had so many good.
Who were you
people
competing against on the middle infield? Yeah, obviously Warren was at second. You were at short.
It was
but who were some of the other guys?
Augie Ojeda from Tennessee, Kip Hardrider from Texas. It was us three.
I remember I played with Hardrider back one summer or something.
So I was competing. I played a little third too, not much, but mostly at short. So it was a grind every day. You had to compete, so you had to bring your A game every day, or you was going home. I mean, it was sad to see people just going home,
Right.
especially
I mean,
right before.
that's
I
the
mean, right
thing.
before you didn't make it home.
Right. Your families buying tickets for the Olympics. You know what I mean?
no
And then all of a
kidding.
sudden,
So-
you're not there.
But it was a great experience, Ronnie. I mean, I got to hang out with a lot of good guys, with a lot of good athletes. I mean, just the experience going through open ceremonies, getting a medal. I mean, most people don't believe I got a medal.
Right.
Wait, you got an Olympic medal? Because baseball's not big in the
Right. It's not
It wasn't
it's
even
not an
on
Olympic
TV.
sport anymore.
It wasn't even on TV.
Right,
I
right.
think it's coming back, maybe, but
But it's coming back on a 1-year thing,
Is it?
like a waiver.
So I led off, and I tell people this all the time. The first game, right? I'm leading off. We playing. I think we played Australia the first game Olympics. You got 55,000 people screaming USA.
Wow.
Talk about get pumped up and got the chills. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm trying to blow it out the yard.
Right.
I mean, it was a good experience. I mean, I enjoyed it. Something I'll never forget. Especially to, be with a teammate, me and Warren,
Right.
and Skip being there, people you've been with for 4 or 5 years. You
Right.
know? It makes it even more special.
How was Skip different as head coach for the Olympics versus head coach at LSU? Did he change any?
I think he did. I think he was a little bit more relaxed, but I think to build a program like he does at LSU, he had his ways. And you only there for 1 year with these guys, I think he, all his speeches and motivation and stuff like that, stuff that takes a while to get.
You got to
get a
build that
system.
trust and
It's
belief.
hard to build a system in 1 year with these guys that are
Right.
all superstars.
Right.
So I think he changed a little bit, but he was still intense and and trying to put as much as he could into the program.
Who were some of the other coaches on the USA staff?
We had Ray Tanner from South Carolina. He's
Uh-huh.
AD now, right?
Mhm.
Ron Polk was there.
Mhm.
They had a couple other junior college guys,
Mhm.
but that was the two main assistants, Ray Tanner and Ron Polk.
I'm sure players would ask you, but hey, what about Skip? I mean, were there other guys that they knew you played for Skip, so they would kind of come to you with questions or ask you, what's he like or anything like that?
Not as much as you would think,
Yeah.
because it was so quick. It was playing every day. It was so quick. It wouldn't really have time to relax and hang out and
Yeah.
enjoy other stuff at the time. But you got to remember they all were prima donnas too, so they didn't
Right.
need to ask me nothing. They was
Yeah.
filling their own oats,
Right.
and, trying to do good
Well,
too. So.
one of the coolest things about you playing on the U.S. Olympic team in '96 with Skip, with Warren Morris in Atlanta, was also on that tour. You get to come to Baton Rouge
That was
and
a
get to
big deal.
play a game at the box. Who'd y'all play at the box? Do you
I think
remember?
we played Australia.
Played Australia.
We did.
I mean,
we only played Australia 20 times, Japanese 20 times. I mean, we played
Right.
so many.
Same teams.
Yeah, same teams over and over and
Well,
over.
what was that like? The place was packed. I mean, it was insane.
It was great, man. Just to be traveling like that and finally get into a familiar
Right.
field and with all your original fans and your family being there and all that. That was really special. I don't know if anybody recognized me because that was the year Warren hit the
That
home
was a
run.
weird- that's
So
what I'm
I mean,
saying.
Warren Morris. It was
Right.
a Warren Morris show.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
Jason.
hey, you on the team too? Okay, let me talk to Warren.
That's
He hit
right.
the home run
Warren
to
had
win it.
just hit the walk-off to beat Miami, and then the next thing you know, he's on the USA team. I mean,
Well, look, as soon as that thing was over, we got back to LSU. We was at the Pete Mac for the celebration. Me and Warren and Skip got on a plane the next morning.
Right.
We was gone. So
Right.
it's like we didn't even have a chance to enjoy the
Enjoy
national
it.
championship, really.
Right,
I mean, we was here and there, I mean.
and he got interviewed a million times everywhere you
well,
went, huh?
man, oh, yeah. Just any free meals, let me get right behind you. I was graduated already, so, it wasn't an NCAA violation.
Exactly. I said he was signing anyway, so it was good. We always joke, and I mean, thank God that happened to Warren, and not say Chad Cooley. I mean,
I'll say that all the time.
Right. I mean, Cooley says that all the time. Thank God it didn't happen to him. He'd probably be dead. But but I mean, like Warren was just the most humble guy, and he's all shucks. And I mean, to this day, Warren's a good friend, and he does a lot of stuff that we, with us, with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Alexander, we put on an event every year, and he volunteers to help. And I mean, to this day, the guy's a celebrity. He lives. I would say he lives off that home run, but like he could if he wanted to.
He could. He
literally
should.
could if he wanted to.
Right.
And
I'm like, he should have ran for like governor right after that or
Absolutely.
something. I mean, it's crazy.
Absolutely. And he's still such a great guy to this day. And they did that documentary that's on the SEC network, and it runs there all the time because it's only 30 minutes long. So it's like the rain delay filler.
It's the rain out filler for sure. Hey, I never get tired of watching. I get the chills every time he hits it. I mean, still to this day, every time I see it, I get the chills.
So I was gonna ask you, like I do anybody that's on that '96 team, that's in Omaha, that's in that moment. Where were you? Take me through where you were when he hit the homer. What are you thinking? Your reaction when you saw the ball off the bat?
Well, I was on deck because Warren was hitting ninth because of the hamate bone
That's
issue.
right.
He was hitting ninth for SEC tournament regional and that. So I was on deck leading off, and of course Morrison was on the mound, and I knew he had a nasty slider. Everybody knew that. He threw the slider like 100 times in a row.
Right.
So most people don't know this, but the wind was blowing so hard from left field foul pole to the first base dugout. There's only one place you could have hit the ball out that day. It was right field.
Right.
It was no doubt.
And
It was
down
right
the
field.
line.
And down the line.
Right.
So, I mean, it was almost you didn't have time because he went up there and swung at the first pitch.
Was it predetermined? Were y'all talking, hey, just sit, slider? I mean, you're not even looking
Pretty
for a
much.
fastball?
Well, I usually look in the area, but kind of everybody thinks if you look for something, it's 100 to nothing. No, it's like 60 fastball, 40.
Right.
If he ain't throwing 96 or 100, you still can get around on the fastball sometimes. If you kind of
Right.
look half and half. But Warren said he was going to be aggressive. He said, if I'm going down, I'm going down swinging. And let's face it, he hit it off his toe.
Right.
I mean, really, it would have
Right.
hit him in the foot, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great pitch because it wasn't what he was trying to do, but it was a good pitch. Like, it's kind of one of those things where, hey, I can't be too upset with myself because it's not like I grooved it down the middle.
Right. Yeah,
he hit a ball that most people couldn't hit anyway.
Right. But look, we practiced before that game, and I remember Warren telling Skip, he said, "This is the first time I feel 100%." That was before the game. He said
That day, earlier that
he
day.
felt 100% that day. Couldn't happen to a better guy. And look, when he hit it, I thought it was going to be a double. We tie
Sure.
game. I'm coming
Now
up.
you're coming up to win-
Hey,
to
I might
win
have a chance to win it, but hey, I'll take it. Let it go out. We'll win it. Let's go.
You were a part of the '93 national championship team, and of course there wasn't any drama in that game. And Laxton
Well,
was
the two games before that, but
not
not
Long Beach, but not that. But in '90s, so compare the two. I mean, and I know you had a bigger role per se on the team in '96, and you were done. This was it.
Right.
But in '93, your career was just kind of starting your redshirt freshman year. But I mean, how were they? How do they compare?
Well, I was a freshman, a redshirt freshman starting that year and playing third. And, I mean, to be a part of it and to have some kind of input of winning games and going to the World Series that year. And, like you said, we won 8-0. And, I mean, it wasn't no dogfight back and forth the whole game, stressing out, kind of tense, like it was in '96. But to be your senior year, and you've been there for 4 years,
right?
And having a chance to win a title and doing that your senior year, I think is special.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, '93 was special too.
Right.
But
right.
I mean, just being there for 4 years and your senior year, hey, I ain't got no more LSU baseball coming after this, and to do it then, and to do it in that way, I mean, it's got to still be one of the greatest LSU sports moments ever.
Yeah, you
baseball.
talk about the Warren Morris homer, the Billy Cannon run, and the Bluegrass Miracle play. Those three plays probably individually are the most memorable, but this one won a national championship.
And we was down by
the Billy
one with
Cannon
2
run
outs in the
won
bottom
a
of the
national
ninth.
championship eventually,
Right.
And of course, the Bluegrass Miracle meant nothing, to the season.
And I think
but
everybody can relate because everybody that plays baseball was out in their backyard as a little kid saying, "Hey, it's 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, we're down by 1. I'm gonna hit a homer to win it." I mean, everybody dreams of that moment, and to actually be a part of that moment, it's really special.
What's interesting is Warren actually lived a few blocks away from me when I was in high school in Alexandria, and we used to go to his house. He was actually a really good basketball player. He was a point guard at Bolton. His dad was a retired coach who was a principal, and Warren had the flat driveway. Like when you had most people have the slanted driveway for water.
Yeah.
He had the flat driveway, so everybody in the neighborhood, we were like, man, we want to play in Warren's driveway because he's got the good driveway. And so Warren was like 2 years younger than me. So in order to play in his driveway. We had to let him play. So I remember Ronnie Hurd, who went to Bolton, was a friend of his, lived across the street with the slanted driveway, and I was closer to his age. And we were like, let's go. We gotta go knock on Warren's door. It's like 14 years old. He'd be like 12, whatever. Go knock on his door. Hey, Warren, you want to come play? He'd be the last pick. He'd be the last pick. But he would just stay outside because he was small and skinny, and he didn't want to get in the middle and get beat up. But he could always shoot. He was a good shooter, and we would use his driveway. And when he came to LSU and he redshirted like you did his freshman year, he was a valedictorian at Bolton. That's how he ended up there. Another good student. And he gets there, and I remember saying, Warren, you got to gain some weight, coach. We got to gain some weight. And
because he was always fast, he had quick hands.
Right. I think he hit one home run in high school. Literally one home run in high school.
He wasn't that strong when he first got here, and dude worked his butt off.
And I remember joking with him. I said, I said, obviously you need to live in the weight room, and you need to just eat whatever I eat because I can't seem to not gain weight. It's just like, eat what I eat. We'll take a time out. We're visiting with Jason Williams, talking about his upcoming induction into the LSU Sports Hall of Fame this Friday. We come back, we'll talk about Skip a little bit. I want to get his take on what makes Skip so great and his relationship with Coach Bertman, who just had his statue unveiled a couple of weeks ago over at Alec Box Stadium. Don't go anywhere. Sports Shorts presented by LeBears. We'll be back.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome back, everybody. He's Jason Williams, going into the LSU Sports Hall of Fame. J-Dub, of course, graduated from Santa Monica High School in 1991 and then headed over to Baton Rouge, where he was a part of 2 national championships in baseball, 1993, 1996, and captain on that 96 team that ended up winning a national championship on the Warren Morris Homer, played in the Olympics with Warren and Skip, and then went on to a pro career with the Cincinnati Reds. 1 year in AAA with the Reds. Didn't you hit 344?
381.
I'm sorry. 381.
No, I can't believe it either. So
Did you really hit 381?
I was going into the last game hitting 375, and I'm like, look, just hold it rope a little bit, make
Right.
it look good. I would think I went like 3 for 5 or something. Made it go up to 381.
380. What year was that? Do you remember?
Whew.
Was in the 90s?
99 maybe.
99. Now, there was a guy named Barry Larkin, right? Playing shortstop in the big leagues with the Cincinnati Reds.
They had Barry at short, and they had Brett Boone and Pokey Reese at second. So yeah, I hit 381 and still don't get caught up. I don't know what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, you're not the only one in LSU history. There's a guy who beat you. I don't know if you know this. Mark Howey?
Yeah.
Remember Mark?
Okay,
so Mark Howey played baseball at LSU, and I want to say his last year was 84, 85. He, in the A's organization 1 year in AAA, hit 380 something or 390 something.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I have to look and see. I swear I think he hit 390
Now,
something.
that year I hit 381. I was in AAA a little bit more than half. So I hit like
Right.
325 in AA. Then they called me up. Then I hit 381 in AAA that year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I led the organization
Yeah,
violation hitting, and I can't even get a September call.
Right,
Just give me a couple of days, right?
Right.
Just give me. Can I make a little bit of money to pay some bills?
So before we get over this Skip, I know, I mean, obviously that's a bitter pill and stings, and it should be. Do you have a conversation with the organization in the off season? Did you have an agent? Did he?
I had an agent. He was trying to get me out of there. They wouldn't let me out. I guess because the insurance policy.
What was their reasoning that they gave you for not calling you up?
They didn't give me.
They didn't give a reason.
They didn't. Well, they don't know if I was been quick enough on turf. That was one reason. I'm like.
They said that quick enough.
The
on
shortstop that got called up next to me. Guess how many errors he made that year?
How many?
56. 56 errors.
In the minors.
In the minors at AAA, made 56 errors. The shortstop got called up.
Did they have more money in them? Is that? Was he a bonus baby?
You know how it is.
Right.
If you first, second, third round, it don't matter what you do. You probably gonna
As long as you.
I saw a guy get called up outfielder that was hitting 181. The next guy to him was hitting 360 in outfield, and we going, are you kidding me? I mean,
Guy hit double the average.
He hit 360. The guy hit 181. And one guy
But the 181 was a bonus.
The 181 was a bonus baby. He was a pitch runner for the next 6 years with the Cardinals. I think he got traded after that.
Right.
But I mean, you gotta be in the right place, right time. I mean,
So you had 1 year at LSU. What? Only 4 errors or something like that? 4 or 5
6
errors
errors my last year. 2 in the World Series, I think. So 6 total. I think I remember my errors because I took defense. I had pride in my defense. I remember my first year was 8, 10, 12, and 6. And that was 2 years at
and look, that's amazing. And look, I love my boy Andy Sheets, but I think he had 30. In 91, I think he had 30. But I mean, like everybody did. Everybody had 20, 30, 40 errors back then.
Well, it is amazing.
Scott Bethea had about 38 errors or something 1 year. I mean, you know what I mean?
And look, when I walked on that field, like.
Well, the old box was terrible. The infield was terrible.
People don't realize the old box, how bad it was.
It was terrible.
We painted it.
Right.
We spray painted it green so it looked like grass. I mean, most of the time, let's face it. Especially
it did have a lot of, especially
so
in the summer.
Now, I mean, it's nice when I walked on it.
You can feel it barehanded.
I'm like, man, I might have made a couple errors on that.
Yeah, just one, maybe one for the season.
Wow.
Well, I mean, look at, Josh Smith and those guys. I mean, Bregman, the good ones. I mean, they're single digits a lot of times. Yeah, because the field's so incredible. No, the old box. I mean, you had the crown. You know, like sometimes, especially a short guy like you, if you're playing deep on the cut, I mean, you barely see the hitter.
It's over the lip, right?
You can't ball in the dirt. You don't even see it.
People don't realize we had one grounds crew back then. Waddell was.
Well, Captain Dub.
Yeah, he was the only guy we had to help with the field.
Captain
we
Dub.
pulled the tarp. We painted the fence.
Yeah. And if you were relying on me to make sure that infield was smooth, you were in trouble. Because I was trying to get out of there.
Well, I don't know if you remember this. We had to work like 20 hours on the field, something like that. You had to get your 20 hours in.
Yeah, you practice.
Got here. Yeah. Painting the fence or whatever.
Right.
And I lived in Galvez, Gonzales area at
you
the
lived
time,
at home.
back and forth. So I forgot to do all my hours. So Skip calls me in the office, and I always tell this story because it's my first public speaking ever. So he's like, Jason, look, you didn't get all your hours. They want you at the assembly center. Go to the Pete Mac. So me and Jeff Knockin.
Jeff Knockin, who hasn't
Chalmette,
spoken
right?
in 25 years.
So we go.
He's basically a
We
mime.
thought we were going to clean the toilet, sweep a floor, whatever. So I walk into the Pete Mac. It is chocolate block packed, standing room only. It was like high school senior day.
Yeah, it was like a come visit or something.
And their parents, they give me a microphone and said, "Go tell them why they should come to LSU." I'm like, wait, what? I mean, I didn't have time to think or nothing. I'm on the half court, like looking around, I mean, shaking. I still today don't know what I said. And Jeff was way
Worse.
more nervous
No,
than
Jeff-
I was.
Jeff was worse.
He was like freaking out.
No,
Black
I would pay $675 for that video. Not for you, for Knockin.
Right. He was way worse than I was.
Jeff
I
Knockin was a
mess.
pitcher out of Chalmette, and Jeff, in the 2 or 3 years that he was on the team, we played together, I swear, over under 100 words. Over under 100 words total.
Right.
And I mean, great guy, smart guy, went and did the Navy SEAL thing or whatever, I believe. Who knows? He can't tell you, he'd have to kill you,
Right.
secret ops or whatever. But like, oh my goodness, I cannot imagine him.
But we came back to Skip's like, hey, what you need done? What you
Yeah,
need done?
because I will never do that again.
I'd rather clean the toilet than go do that again.
That was funny. The first time Skip Bertman ever introduced me to the at the coaches committee, which he introduced every freshman. You had to speak. That was his way of training you and getting you used to public speaking, which was brilliant on his part. And because most guys were scared to death.
Right.
And the first time he introduced me, I mean, of course, I was different. I was like taking the mic out of his hand, like, give it to me. I
you
got
had
it.
earphones in the dugout, play by play to the game. I remember that.
But Skip said, hey, we got this guy. He's going to be a good one here. A left-handed pitcher, Randy Rance from Menard, Louisiana. And I remember I took the microphone and said, thank you, Coach. Name's Ronnie, and there is no such city as Menard. You know? That was my first introduction. I was like, oh, my goodness.
Speaking of that, I remember making some plays in the inter squad in my first year. And good play. Then he wait to see the back. Number 8, good job.
Yeah, he totally. The joke always was, that's why he put names on the back of the uniform so he could know everybody, names instead of calling you by your number.
Right.
He says, so all right, let's talk a little bit about Skip for a minute. I mean, all seriousness, you had the long experience, got a chance to play for him for 5 years, right?
Years.
As a red shirt and 4 years. Then you played on the Olympics with him in '96. So you spent more time with him than anybody other than Dan Canterbury. So when you think back, when people say, well, what makes him so great, what comes to mind?
Details. I think he is a detail-oriented coach. I tell people this all the time. Like, in the first inning, he knew every situation that was going to happen in the 4th or 5th inning and knew exactly what he was going to do before it happened. He had everything figured out in his mind, and he didn't have to guess. When it was 4th inning, man on second, you down by 2, he knew if he was going to bunt, hit, run, let you swing, what pitch to throw. I mean, he was so detail-oriented pre-game, going through the game in his head. He had it all figured out before it even happened. And I think that made him, I don't think how many coaches really do that, go through every situation and know what they're going to do before it happens. And let's face it, he was one of the smartest coaches I've ever seen during the game. Managing the game, he just knew things was going to happen. He would do things to see what was going to happen and go from there. But he never guessed. He knew exactly what was going to happen. Every game, he was prepared.
What's interesting is when you describe him, it's kind of like describing Nick Saban, right? The first thing people say is detail, attention to detail. Like everything matters, and it's all about, it's not about that game. It's about the direction of the program. And I was like, Skip, he didn't get mortified if we lost to Nichols on a Tuesday. It was, well, what did we do in that game that can benefit us for Omaha, to win in Omaha? It was always about winning in Omaha. And that's something that's a little different than a lot of coaches do, right? He wasn't afraid to talk about winning the College World Series.
Well, he would get pitchers ready early, even if they failed, to get them ready because we knew we would have them down the road, or any hitter or any player. You're right. Everything he did, it was for getting to Omaha and winning.
I
it wasn't for let's beat Nichols 10-0, or he wanted to get people ready for when it really meant something in the end of the year.
And he had a way of challenging you. I remember one time warming up to pitch against the Raging Cajuns, and they had a good team, and we actually wound up losing that game in the bullpen and late. But he was saying, listen, I don't want you to think about this. You're pitching for the postseason. we were treating this like a regional, like I'm getting you ready for the regionals, and he lets you get in that mindset, that hey, look, it's beyond this game.
Well, he knew who he can trust when that regional came and the game was online. By then, he knew who he can trust to give the ball to.
Yeah. The thing you talked about, how he could kind of predict things in the game. I mean, that was the thing that made him so special. One of the things that made him so special to me was he had so much knowledge that he had acquired over the years, and just knew how things were. I know you probably got stories about him saying in the dugout, "Hey, this is going to happen," and sure enough, next pitch it happens. Like you're like, what? That's crazy,
Right.
But,
all the time.
But he had that ability to know, hey guys, listen, the guy's going to hit a ground ball to second here, and we're going to do this. And like, oh, what? And 2 pitches later, guy hits a ground ball to second. But I think the fact that he called the pitches and knew that put him in the game more. Like he was sharper.
It's kind of like being a DH. I'd rather play defense and hit than just be a DH because you're in the game more. And like you said, he's
mentally,
pitches.
yeah.
He's mentally in the game, know what's going on. He know what he wants to do with each batter, what each pitcher does. He keeps him in the game, watching every little detail too.
Yeah. He wasn't afraid to give the take, was he?
Look, I led off for 4 years. I had to take probably more than anybody.
Yeah.
I remember one story. We was playing Florida. I needed a triple for the cycle. We beat them 7-2 in like the 7th, 8th. It's 3-1 count. He gives me the take. I'm like, I need a triple. I mean, at least we winning, I mean, why you give me take 3-1? I didn't swing at bad pitches. Why are you taking me? So I told the umpire, I said, look, wherever is it at, call it a strike. So it was about that far outside. He called it a strike, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm swinging no matter what. So they threw one about 3 inches
told the
outside.
umpire.
Yeah,
That's great. That's
I
great.
hit one down the right field line. I'm thinking I'm going 3 no matter what. I don't care if anybody holds me up. But the first baseman dove and snow coned me or something. I'm like, God, missed it.
He told the umpire call it a strike no matter what.
But, he looked at the stats and saw if the pitcher walked more than strikeouts, I was going to take most of the time. But he knew I was swinging the first pitch.
He's Jason Williams. I'm Ronnie Rance. So when we come back, I want to get J-Dub's take. He was a former great quarterback at Santa Monica. We'll let him talk a little LSU football with him. And it's a big, big game. Tigers and Gators this Saturday in Tiger Stadium. The winner still has national championship hopes. We'll talk about that when we return.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call AccuTemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call AccuTemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment of Sports Shorts presented by LaBerge Casino. Ronnie Rance joining me is Jason Williams, who this Friday will be joining a very prestigious class as he will be getting inducted into the LSU Sports Hall of Fame, joining the likes of, you see right there on your screen, Ashley Ducote, who went to Alexandria Senior High. Her brother Rick Ducote was a good friend of mine and played college baseball as well. Ashley, now the head softball coach over at Parkview Baptist. She's getting inducted. You see Meredith Duncan, fantastic female golfer. Susan Jackson, who's a multi-All-American on the Mount Rushmore of LSU gymnastics. You see Walter Davis, who unbelievable triple jumper.
I mean, wow.
I remember Walter and watching the videos of him. I mean, absolutely incredible. You see Jackson in wrestling. People don't realize LSU had a fantastic wrestling program going in the early '80s, and then Title IX came in. The money started drying up. They just kind of ran out of money as they needed to do some things for women's sports and other things, and so he ended up transferring and going elsewhere and was an All-American, but was a great wrestler at LSU. Brady James, of course, former West Monroe Rebel graduate, played for the Dallas Cowboys, played for Nick Saban in his early years, and then there's J-Dub on the right celebrating that 1996 national championship, for the second of two national championships at LSU. That'll be this Friday night.
The only picture I ever got in on the national champ because I was always short and behind the scene. Nobody ever seen me.
They put you in the front. You were good to go. You're obviously, played quarterback and won a bunch of games and led Santa Monica to an undefeated season one year when you were at QB. So you follow the LSU football program. I know you have to be as shocked that you were a guy who ran the football a lot, but as an option type guy. But, I mean, to see the metamorphosis of this offense, for them to go from, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, play action, pro style, to where they are now is incredible.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I've been waiting for this offense for, 20, 30 years? I mean, we always had the athletes and the skill players, but we never got them. We never got the ball to them enough in open space. And I'll tell you what, it's just fun to watch this. I mean, let's face it. In years past, we was 3rd and 8 on every time because we ran the ball in an 8-man front right up the middle most of the time, Yeah, we had the good running backs and the strong running backs, but it's hard to run against the SEC 8-man front. But now to be slinging it all over the yard and spreading it out and getting our athletes the ball more, it's a chance for a lot bigger plays.
Joe Burrow, I mean, it's only 5 games in, but he is on pace to having the best year any LSU quarterback's had by far, but not just statistically, right? It's the decision making.
Well, I think he's kind of been running this spread offense since he's been little.
Right.
I mean, this is right in his wheelhouse. So I think he's familiar with this and grew up doing this, and I think it's really shining now, and they put him in better positions.
Well, he's a coach's kid too, and when you're a coach's kid, generally you make those good decisions, and that's what and pick up things quick.
Well, let's face it, when you're throwing the ball on 1st down and not 3rd and long every time, you're gonna have more success, And I think now, I think this is gonna help us with recruiting too. I mean, hey, quarterbacks, hey, they slinging the ball. I'm coming now. Hey, receiver. We was always getting good receivers anyway, but you don't think the receiver wants to come here? We had 3 receivers over 100 yards one game. That's
right.
Insane.
Well, what's funny is that, as the lack of proficiency throwing the football, even though LSU was not in the top anything throwing the football over the last 20 years, they still got great receivers. I mean, everybody talks about LSU being DBU. Heck, you could make a state that's it's wide receiver.
And I always said, I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it.
Well, it goes to the talent in Louisiana, right?
It
goes to show you the type of athlete that comes out of Louisiana.
You're only going to come here and catch a few balls. It's not too enticing. But, hey, I think Odell has helped that. Jarvis Landry, hey, I think that's helped the receivers, us recruiting too, see them being successful in the NFL too.
The LSU, this atmosphere that's coming up, Florida, at night, top 10 matchup. When you think back to LSU, Florida, in my mind, Jacob Hester, of course, in 2007 and the 4 4th downs that Les Miles went for, but also in the 90s when they were number 1 in 1997, I believe, when they were number 1 in the country, and LSU beat them with Tommy Banks and, at fullback, Herb Tyler.
Right,
Donaldson had a couple of picks. I mean, there's been some great memories, LSU beating Florida in Tiger Stadium.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Were you there at that game in the 90s, or were you playing ball? Do you
I was
remember?
playing ball.
Because I remember that they rushed the field, they stormed the field.
Yeah,
you were probably
I
playing
missed out
fall
on a lot
ball
of stuff. I played
in the late
fall
90s.
ball and playing pro ball and all that stuff. I couldn't keep up with it as much as I could. We couldn't afford a TV back then.
AAA didn't pay like
right. Oh, you making great money in AAA. What?
Yeah, $1,200 a month.
Yeah, I always made the minimum.
Well, Jason, congratulations, man, on going into the LSU Hall of Fame. I know I can talk for all former LSU baseball players. You've always never gotten the love that you quite deserved. There's others guys were bigger, stronger, faster. They always kind of popped. Unfortunately, there wasn't the TV coverage and the internet like there was back in the 90s. But all of us former baseball players know that you're one of the best to ever play here. So thrilled for you.
I appreciate it, man. It means a lot to me to be a part of this and to my family. So I'm real proud of it.
Well, I'll be there Friday night. I know a lot of other people will as well. And joining a wonderful, wonderful class. Go check it out. You can get tickets still. Go check out the LSU website. Give Kristen Kane a call over at the L Club, and you can get some tickets. It's going to be a wonderful event downtown Baton Rouge as Jason Williams joins a prestigious class, Brady James, Susan Jackson, and others, into the LSU Sports Hall of Fame. I'm Ronnie Rance. Thanks to LaBerge for being the title sponsor of Sports Shorts TV. Check us out each and every Monday, Tuesday on Pelican Broadcasting.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.